What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Poke Office. My name is Colin. Today, I thought we'd talk about the age-old question. If I had $1,000 right now to spend on Pokemon sealed product, what would I be buying in September 2024? Hey, the first thing I always say when I bring about these questions is whether or not you're looking for a collectible purpose or for an investment purpose. Now, if you're looking on the collectible side of things, I think the money matters a lot less. And then if you just had $1,000, go buy something that makes you really happy. Go buy something that you've been chasing for a long time, or that, I don't know, it's part of the chase, or it's part of something that's like nostalgic to you. That's part of what makes collecting so fun. I think about my friend Josh right now, who is trying to collect every Snorlax card that Pokemon has ever printed. And I think that's like a really cool thing. It's not what I like to do, but it's what he's doing. And I think that's really awesome. So adding an extra Snorlax card or two could be a really, really fun challenge to have. But if we turn back to the investment side of things, that's when we have to actually take a look at some of what's happening. Like, is set X better than set Y? Why is set Y better than set X, or whatnot? Set X and Y, holy crap, that's a tongue twister. But you get the drift. What set is going to perform best? Like, think about this. If we were in this Pokemon space right now, back when Evolving Skies was $110 per booster box, like, I'd love to say that hindsight 2020, I would be like, you should just buy 9 Evolving Skies booster boxes. I probably wouldn't have said that, but it sure would have been awesome, for sure. But why is Evolving Skies so popular? And now taking that information and moving forward, what sets in Scarlet and Violet era right now are popular? We need to take a look at that. So I want to shout out, I shout out him a lot lately. PokeOz, Michael, has been just absolutely crushing YouTube lately. He just came out with a video on basically a simple Pokemon booster box investment strategy, and I thought it was really, really good. I'm going to link it down below in the description, so I would recommend watching that for sure. He said something along the lines of, hey, I buy 1 or 2 of every booster box, basically ever, that comes out, like during Scarlet and Violet era, just because you never know. You think back to a set like Rebel Clash, where there's not much good to say about it. There's no big chase cards, and yet the booster box is still quite expensive because it was short printed so much. So you're always going to have that opportunity to maybe get there on one of like the weaker sets, so to speak. But then he talks about, hey, we need to look at the actual numbers. Like, he brought up the pricing of each set, where how much would it cost you to buy every single card. So the average for Scarlet and Violet, I think he said somewhere in the realm of like $600 to $650 US dollars to buy every single card for a specific set. And then, of course, Twilight Masquerade is a little bit more than that because it has that Greninja card. Obsidian Flames is quite a bit less than that because it doesn't have any big chase cards. So you're looking at the pricing of the single cards. And then you also need to look at what is the big chase card of a set. Like, we look at Paldea Evolved. You got the Magikarp illustration rare. That's a huge chase. People want it. People want it in a PSA 10. The quality control on it is pretty tough to get a PSA 10. So there's that chase all throughout that. Twilight Masquerade has that Greninja. The pull rate is extremely tough on it. It's an absolutely beautiful card. It's currently the biggest card of Scarlet and Violet era. So there's this happening as well. So what are people, as collectors or investors or Pokemon pack rippers, all sorts of things, what are people going to want to open up later into the future? Because right now, going back to the original analogy, like, people still want to open up Evolving Skies and chase that Umbreon VMAX and chase the Rayquaza VMAX and all the other amazing cards that are in that set. People still want to open up Hidden Fates for that SV49 Charizard and all the good full art shiny Pokemon in it. People don't necessarily want to open up some of the other Sun and Moon sets that don't have a big chase card to it, and hence those prices are still kind of on the lower end of things. So thinking about that, in Scarlet and Violet era, what sets are going to do really, really well? I mean, right off the bat, I would think that Paldea Evolved has that Magikarp. I've already talked about it. Also has the Iono. But it also has some other special illustration rares that are really, really cool. They're not huge chase cards, but it makes opening the set a lot of fun. You got the Chi Yu, you got the Chien Pao, you got the Ting Lu. I'm going to miss a bunch of them. The Skeledirge, the Quackable, and the Meowscarada. All really cool special illustration rares. The Tinkaton. There's some cool cards in that set. There's a lot of great cards in Paldea Evolved. It's a bigger set as well, so lots of different cards to chase out of that set. Then think about Twilight Masquerade, the other one we've talked about. The Greninja is just the huge chase card. It's a very different set than Paldea Evolved. Paldea Evolved has a whole ton of different cards that you're kind of looking forward to, and Twilight Masquerade really just has the one or two cards. I mean, you could argue that the Carmine and the Perrin are really good cards too. There's some good illustration rares like the Eevee and the Growlithe and a whole bunch of other ones. Chansey and Tatsuguri from Twilight Masquerade. I'm just geeking out now. But really, Twilight Masquerade is popular because Greninja is huge. It's huge. Then we think to other sets that I personally would list a little bit lower than Paldea Evolved and Twilight Masquerade, but still really good sets so far in Scarlet and Violet era. I'm talking about Paradox Rift. I'm talking about Temporal Forces. And there's some good chase cards. I don't want to say they're great chase cards, but Paradox Rift has, the Roaring Moon special illustration rare. It has the Iron Valiant special illustration rare. It has some other great artwork cards, but the value isn't huge on them right now. Then we look at Temporal Forces. You got the Raging Bolt. You have the Iron Crown, the Iron Leaves, the Gouging Fire, the Walking Wake. I'm missing some again. Again, are those really big chase cards? Arguably yes, arguably no, but they're not my favorite personally. I would rather chase after the Greninja than chase after the Raging Bolt. So I'm immediately gravitating towards Twilight Masquerade, and I think lots of people do that. So I think that's going to be forward into the future as well. What are people going to gravitate towards? And I don't think that this is just YouTubers spouting out nonsense. I actually think that the majority of people gravitate towards Paldea Evolved. They gravitate towards Twilight Masquerade. They're going to gravitate towards upcoming sets such as Surging Sparks and Team Rocket and the Eevee High Class set, or the Specialty set. I haven't even talked about specialty sets. My goodness. Scarlet and Violet 151 just brought back the nostalgia so much. So is that something worth going for? I personally like to park my money into booster boxes more than elite trainer boxes and collection boxes, but Scarlet and Violet 151 is something special. Let's be honest. It is up there with, I don't even know what to compare it to. It's just awesome. It brought so many people back to the hobby, and it just seems like it's going to be so popular for such a long time. And then I'd also say that Paldean Fates as a specialty set is something really, really special. It's got the Charizard and the Bubble Mew and the Gardevoir special illustration rares that are just, they're kind of like what we've never seen before out of a shiny set. Hidden Fates, of course, has the iconic SV49 Charizard, but the Paldean Fates Charizard is an absolute beauty. A shiny Charizard, but it's a special illustration rare. Or the Bubble Mew is a shiny Mew, but it also is a special illustration rare, not just a full art card. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I think Paldean Fates personally is better than Hidden Fates. It's a hot take. I've said it before. I'll continue to say it. But is that not something worth parking your money into? And now, before I get to what I'd actually buy, the last thing I thought I'd bring up is Silver Tempest is still available on Pokemon Center. So we saw 3-4 months ago-ish this huge explosion of Sword and Shield booster boxes. Fusion Strike sold out, Brilliant Stars sold out, Astral Radiance sold out, Lost Origins sold out. All these sets sold out on Pokemon Center, and we just saw the prices of these booster boxes skyrocket. Then there was a little bit of a restock on Pokemon Center, probably just clearing out the warehouse, and the prices are whoa. But then it was just almost even a more feeding frenzy of people, I need that, before it goes out of stock for good. Silver Tempest still available. So here's my question to you. If Silver Tempest was to sell out on Pokemon Center today, what would happen to the rest of Sword and Shield? Would we see another feeding frenzy? Or would it just be it's the last one. We already had our fill of Fusion Strike and Brilliant Stars and Lost Origin and all that stuff. What's going to happen? I don't know. Is that a good investment? Do I or you want to park your money still into the Sword and Shield stuff, hoping that we're going to see another spike in the next 6 to 12 months? Or is it just time to move on from Sword and Shield and focus on Scarlet and Violet, where, yeah, maybe the timeline might be a little longer. Maybe the risk of a reprint might be a little bit higher, but the opportunities buying some of these boxes at a little bit of a cheaper price gets a little bit easier. I am a bit of a gambling man, so I kind of like both options, to be honest with you. But if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know how much I love Scarlet and Violet era. I think Pokemon has just absolutely knocked it out of the park. If anything, like, we're on Scarlet and Violet 07 booster box right now, or set. Stellar Crown, which equates to Fusion Strike of Sword and Shield era. So, like, you look at Twilight Masquerade, which directly competes with Chilling Reign, is it? And then Stellar Crown competes with Evolving Skies. I mean, Stellar Crown is the one that loses. Obviously, it was going to lose to Evolving Skies if you were doing a side-by-side comparison of Scarlet and Violet sets versus Sword and Shield sets. Nothing was going to beat Evolving Skies. But other than that, I could argue both ways for Twilight Masquerade versus Chilling Reign. But the rest of them, Scarlet and Violet knocks it out of the park. It's completely better than Sword and Shield era. So will it continue? Kind of feels like it, with Surging Spark coming, and Trainers Pokemon coming, and Team Rocket set coming. Scarlet Violet's knocking it out of the park. So I feel like that's where the right way to put my money is. So here is the hypothesis I came up with right before recording this video. This is what I'm actually probably going to spend my $1,000 on. And I had to keep it under $1,000. So we got $28 left to spare. Here we go. All right, starting off, Paldea Evolved Booster Box. Man, check this price out, $143. That's insane. Not that long ago. Check this out. Back a year ago, a $92 booster box. You have already gained 45% on this box if you bought it at the low. I don't have enough Paldea Evolved. I want to buy more. So I'd be buying some. I think Paldea Evolved is a really good set. I actually do personally hope that they reprint it so I can grab up some more of it. Next, I'd buy some Twilight Masquerade. It's just another absolutely great set. Check this out. The set hasn't even been out for a year yet, but it hit a low of like 101.54. Now it's at 140. So we're up almost 40%. That's a lot for it being a really new set, but the Greninja just continues to cook. Okay, speaking of, this is kind of how I'd rank my sets out of Scarlet and Violet era so far. At number one, I'm not going to like put them at number 1 and 2, but tied at number 1, Paldea Evolved and Twilight Masquerade. Tied at number 2 would be Paradox Rift and Temporal Forces. And then tied at number 3, you could probably rank them differently, but base set, Obsidian Flames, and Stellar Crown would be the lowest ones on the box. Okay, so here we go. Paradox Rift, I'd also buy. This is still a really good price. $103.10, ridiculously good. Temporal Forces, I don't know which one I like better. I keep changing my mind. Paradox Rift or Temporal Forces? What do you like better? Tell me down in the comments below. But $104.43. And then we have to buy some specialty sets if I'm spending $1,000 right now. So $76.50 for a 151 Elite Trainer box, and only $42.74 for a Paldean Fates Elite Trainer box. Here's my spreadsheet. Okay, so here's what I'm buying on the left. Then here's the quantity that I would buy, the price of one, and the price of two. So 2 Paldea Evolved booster boxes coming into a total of $287.22. 2 Twilight Masquerade booster boxes, $281.48. 1 Paradox Rift booster box, 1 Temporal Forces booster box, $103 and $104. 2 Scarlet and Violet 151 Elite Trainer boxes, $153 total for that, and 1 Paldean Fates ETB, $42.74. Brings us to a total of $971.97. It's pretty darn close to $1,000. $28 to spare. And here's the last thing I really like about that is that it diversifies my Pokemon portfolio, especially if like we're assuming that this would just be starting out with $1,000. This would diversify my Pokemon portfolio enough that, like, let's say Paldea Evolved just kind of hits a plateau and never goes anywhere. Well, only have 2 booster boxes. I spent 30% of my money on it, but I still have the rest of the 70% that can do something good. Or pretend Paldean Fates, maybe I'm really high on it and no one else actually is. Everyone else hates it. Then that could be a thing where I only parked 5% of my money into there. So the rest of my 95% investment could do quite good. I like the diversification of it where I have a little bit of everything. And if you've watched the channel before, that's where my actual heart lies in terms of my Pokemon investing. I buy some of everything. I buy every set. I buy booster boxes of every set. I buy elite trainer boxes of all the specialty sets because you just never know which one is going to completely crush. If you look back on YouTube and look at what YouTubers were saying about Twilight Masquerade 2 months and 1 month and right at release of Twilight Masquerade, it was not a popular set. And look at it now. It is arguably the best set out of Scarlet and Violet era so far. So you just never know what's going to happen. There's lots of evidence that people tend to like things after the fact, not right now. So I like to diversify, have a little bit of everything. Anyways, that's it for my $1,000 spending. Tell me in the comments below, what are you spending your $1,000 on September 24? And of course, we got to open some packs. So here we go. All right, I just had to do it. I was thinking about the Greninja, and I was like, I need one of those. I need it. And these are all coming from 3-pack blisters. Just some random 3-packs that I had lying around. So I actually have 12 packs today. And you just never know. Like, the variance in 3-packs is quite high. So, like, we could hit absolute gold, either metaphorically or literally speaking, or we could get absolutely shafted. It really depends. I've had both good and bad luck from 3-pack blisters. There's our first hit, so at least we don't go 0 for, because 0 for 12 would have really hurt the team, let's be honest with you. Man. You know, I always enjoy doing these videos because it's like, number one, I really like the challenge of trying to figure out like what products could equal up to whatever dollar amount I choose. Ooh, Diplin. Nice. I like it. I like it. But I also think it's interesting to, like, over time, I think my thoughts probably change on how I would approach this question. So if you'd watched, like, my first video that I did on spending money investing today, then my thoughts probably have changed over the course of time. Like, I don't know if I'll ever change my thoughts completely because I like the diversify option of having some of everything. Like, I probably wouldn't ever park my money in just one product. That's just too many eggs in one basket, so to speak. But I don't know. I think I've changed. And you just know that I've said it in the last couple of videos. I have kind of turned into more of like a churn and burn a little bit, where I still hold stuff for the long haul. But like, to say that I have invested in Pokemon for 5 to 7 years, like, well, I just haven't yet. I haven't been in the hobby that long. So I have some stuff that I bought early on that I'm planning on holding for that long. But also, like, who knows, right? So I do want to just continue, like, buying and selling stuff too. I've been trying to think about my strategy. Another cornerstone. Like, when is the time to sell? And we were talking about it in the Discord community the other day. Like, there's something in me that says, if I could turn around in a couple months and make 50% on my money, why would I not do that? And then go use that money to go make 50% again. Like, you're going to make more gains doing that than you are just holding for 5 to 7 years. more than likely. But that being said, you want to have some where it's like an Evolving Skies type of thing happens again. Maybe never does happen, but it might. And then if you were to sell at just a 50% gain, well, you're losing out on the opportunities for an 800% gain, like we've seen. So I think there's a strategy in there somewhere where you buy a decent amount and then you make 50%, you sell half of it, and you hold the other half until longer. But that's the whole thing with investing, collecting that we've talked about before, where, hey, if you're actually just investing, you can't be scared to let go of your investments. Otherwise, you're a bit of a collector as well. So, and it's hard. It's hard to let go of. I think lots of us actually do care about Pokemon. Like, if you don't care about Pokemon, you probably shouldn't be putting your money into it in the first place. But I do care about Pokemon. I love Pokemon. I grew up with Pokemon. It's still one of my favorite hobbies. So it's hard when I care about Pokemon and then I have to sell it. It's like, I kind of want that. I don't want to get rid of that. Anyways, I'm just rambling. My goodness. If you're still listening, I appreciate you. Here's the last pack. These cards are crazy off-center top to bottom too, by the way. Come on, nothing. It certainly wasn't very good 3-packs, but the Diplin is a pretty nice card, so we'll take that all day. And that's going to do it for me at the Poke Office. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Appreciate you. Peace!